Hello, everybody, and good evening, and welcome to our final studio show here on MXGP TV, the final one of the season. We're also live on Facebook, don't forget, and Lisa and I will be bringing you all the latest info from here at the Monster Energy Riders and Manufacturers Super Motocross Cup here, right from the veltin-arena. My guests, or our guests today, are Ryan Dungey. He'll be riding for Team KTM, but of course he's a Red Bull KTM factory rider from the USA. We've got Zach Osborne coming up. He's riding for Team Husqvarna, the Rockstar Energy Husqvarna rider, and then later on we've got Sami Hyypiä, former UEFA Champions League winner for Liverpool, but he's also an ambassador for this SMX Riders and Manufacturers Cup here in Germany. But we'll go straight to Lisa first of all. Lisa, it's our final studio show of the year, and we're inside this veltin-arena, impressive facility. What are your first impressions?
Just first off, it's something we've been looking forward to all year. Finally, we're here, and it is so impressive. It's huge, and I just think it's exciting to actually finish the season with something new and something different as well. Yeah. So I can't wait for later.
Well, we'll see. It's all going to be kicking off soon. In about an hour's time, we have the opening ceremony here. But Ryan Dungey, the last time we saw you in Europe was riding the Motocross of Nations in Latvia.
Yep.
Welcome back.
Yeah, it's good to be back. It's always a treat to come over here to Europe and race. So especially with the unique event and you know, the blend of the Supercross, Motocross, and racing for the as a team for KTM. It's exciting.
When did you arrive in Europe?
We got in Wednesday. We had a little. We drove down to Salzburg, visited the factory on Thursday. They have a new race shop, so we got to see all that and visit the crew, and it's pretty exciting stuff for them. And then we drove back up to Germany and flew from where were we? Munich up here. So good to see Germany a little bit, and we were here in touch until in 13, so got to see it then a little. But it's always, I'm a little bit, it's always new, so it's fun.
Well, you just mentioned a couple of places that you've been to, but obviously I'm guessing the boys at KTM have been keeping you pretty busy. You mentioned the visit to the factory, the new factory. I'm hearing it's pretty impressive down there.
It really is. It's state of the art. I mean, the architect on the outside before you come in, they were calling it like the space shuttle. It's pretty unique. So, it's exciting. You got the MotoGP department in there, the race shop. And right across from that's the motocross, supercross, or motocross over here, and then the enduro part. I mean, it's all under one roof. Walking through the floor and seeing how the engines are built, and it's immaculate. It's amazing. Yeah,
because it's not the first time you've been, is it? You went to the old facility, so I'm guessing it's like head and shoulders above what that could have been.
Right. I mean, there's the distribution center, and then there was the race shop. But I mean, this tops it. Every time I go back, I've been there about 4 times, but every time I go back, it's one more thing, and it's great to see the growth of KTM and. A lot of the people there are so passionate, and a lot of them are here. They make the journey up here, so it's exciting. I want to say about 400 of them. So it's very exciting that they have so much passion. Yeah. So it's a great morale, great team, and great group of people on all fronts, from in USA to here in Europe. So it's a great place to be a part of.
Oh, brilliant. Well, we have a question for you on social media. Harold Hyman says, how are you after the crash, and are you in shape? Do you feel ready?
Yeah, I mean, everything's good. I was able to take the rest of the outdoors off and just really recover, not have to rush it back, which was nice. And the team wasn't on me to get back. They wanted me to get recuperated and well rested. And we were able to do that. We got a lot of time on the outdoors in August, and we've been on Supercross in California before we've come here. So we've got a lot of time on the bike, and everything's healthy, thankfully. We can put that behind. And physical fitness is, we're not in our peak season, where we're going after it. That'll be November, December, but plenty of fit enough to be here and to get the job done as well here. So I wouldn't be here if I didn't think I had the stamina to do that.
And, of course, you're going to be at the MEC next week as well, which is obviously something else to look forward to. But let's talk the circuit here in Veltins. Obviously, one or two of you had the opportunity to ride it last night. What were your first impressions going around and just doing our GoPro footage? Because obviously you weren't wearing one, but Roman was, Tim was, but you were just kind of in and around that whole thing. Just what was your feedback?
It's obviously the first look at the track, getting to ride it was very cool. With the starting on the gate, it's that mesh gate, so it's very consistent, a lot of grip, a lot of traction, as you can see. And then from there, it's the track was actually quite softer. The dirt was a little bit more moist than I expected, and it's got a harder base. It got pretty choppy today in practice, but everybody thinks, oh, you're the Supercross rider, you got the advantage. But as you can see, it's a blend of a little Supercross, some rhythm, and a little outdoor mix. So practice was good. As the times you can see, I felt great, but those guys didn't struggle by any means.
No.
So it was. I look forward to the race in the night, and it'll be a good challenge, and we'll give her a good push.
Yeah, and I guess a lot of comments on social media at the moment. Obviously, I guess more American fans are sort of saying it's not a Supercross track, but that was never the aim. That was never the intention.
Right.
It was always going to be a motocross track indoors.
Yeah, and it's these guys get a lot of time. Us coming over here, we're here to do our job, and we do great in the USA, but it's different over here. The tracks are different, especially this event. It isn't so Supercross. It is more motocross, which makes for the gap and the margin out there on the track is a lot less. So we're closer, and the racing is just going to be that much more intense. The gaps, we're not going to be able to pull away as much. We're going to have to not make any mistakes. So it's going to be critical.
The format is very much like the Motocross of Nations. You've got 3 riders per team. What's Jeffrey Hurling's like as a teammate?
Yeah, that's cool. I haven't got to spend much time with him throughout my career, and I was, he does a heck of a job over here, obviously, and we got a little sand section in here as well that he's just killing it in. But it's cool. He's a good guy, good kid. I've got to see him every time. He's very passionate and driven, and wants to do good. And a hardworking kid, ain't afraid to put in the time. So it's good to have people like that, and it's rare to find that these days, and kids so young too. And I mean, I'm young myself, but at that age,
you forget how young Jeffrey actually is, don't you?
Yeah. Well, he's just 22.
Yeah.
You were 22 once.
Once.
You were a long time ago.
Oh, shush.
Okay.
Here's what happens. You say something, you set yourself right up. But KTM on paper are looking strong. We knew that before we arrived here. And then we were just looking at how the teams qualified in terms of the same way that the Motocross of Nations, the fastest time or the lowest score. And in that respect, with Jeffrey Hurling setting a sub 50 with a 49.5, he's obviously given KTM the best qualifying, Honda a second, Husqvarna, Yamaha. But we've got Super Pole coming up a little later on. So will KTM nominate Jeffrey to go out and do the Super Pole lap?
Yeah, before we got together and the event or the practice, we agreed, whoever's got the fastest time, and European, they're really good at throwing it down and getting those good laps, and Jeffrey was that guy, So out of what it is, he deserves to go. So he'll run the Super Pole for us, and then from there we'll get a gate pick and execute.
Where do you think the biggest threat is going to come from? Which team? You've seen other riders and teams? Yeah,
I mean, honestly, I come over here and I kind of get confused because I don't know all the guys. So there's, I seen there was Weimer out there, there's Ramon, there's Tim Geyser, I mean, Marvin and Jeff, everybody. So it's hard to say, I think a lot of people, you got the best team and you should win. Well, it's like, all right, we got to do our job still. It's just because we have from the paper of a good team, we still got to go out there and execute it. So we'll do the best we can. I mean, the Yamaha boys are good. Yeah. The Honda boys are good, with Gautier and Barbashev, I want to say. And, so.
Yeah, it's very much open. Right, we have some more social media questions for you.
And then we'll let you go.
You might recognise this name. Emma Weckman, 25 official, says, how is it to ride in Europe and Supercross? And how do you warm up for the races?
We have a little spin bike. It is a little chillier here, but it's not too bad. 60s, I want to say. It'll cool off tonight. But 3 races, I mean, pretty much back to back on the hour. It's, it's not enough time to kind of cool down. So, you can wear your jacket, stay warm, and after the first one, it's pretty much you're warmed up for the next one. So I think, and we just ended practice at, 5:30, I want to say. Yeah. So we're basically only an hour and a half off the bike. So we'll eat something and get it rolling. Cool.
Okay. And finally, Embry says, what's your motivation for training every day to go back to the top after a recent crash or an injury?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's injuries are tough at times, but it's important to recognize how it happened, why it happened, and move forward. You can't let something that happened in the past, keep you from going after the rest of your future, and I've been given a gift and a talent. I want to make the most of it, and it's a challenge. It seems like it's getting harder every year with a new group of guys coming in, but I enjoy the challenge and waking up, and I want to be that good leader and good role model for the sport as well on the side of racing. But it's it's never ending. You know, you're always going after the next step, and it's competitive, and you know, it's always trying to, you know, you learn a lot. You prove a lot to yourself through it all, you know, and never giving up and don't quit, and being true. So.
All right.
Doing something right.
Yeah, so, hopefully that's answered your questions, guys. But Ryan Dungey, thanks for joining us. Good to see you.
You too.
And enjoy your night.
Appreciate you. Thank you.
Cool. Right, before we meet our next guest, Zach Osborne, let's take a quick look at what's been happening around the paddock here at the veltin-arena. Well, there's been all kinds of stuff going on here. We've had Fred Crosset, Monster Energy Trials rider, stunt rider extraordinaire, and he's been wowing the crowds down there in the paddock throughout the day. And as you can see, highly talented individual he is as well. Him and his team of guys down there really putting on a good show here this afternoon in the paddock. But we've also had the Drift King as well, bombing around in his Monster Energy car. Steve Bagsy Biagioni, and a little bit of backflipping on the trials bike there. And this certainly got the crowds in here today. Lots of smoke, lots of noise, V8 sounding engines and all that kind of thing. And well, everybody here just running straight across the paddock as soon as they heard all of that going on down there in the paddock. Well, I'm glad to say our next guest has joined us here. Rockstar Energy Husqvarna Factory Racing's Zach Osborne, of course, riding for Team Husqvarna this weekend. Welcome back to Europe. And it's been a while since we've seen you riding over on these shores.
We've missed you.
Thank you. It's good to be back and just to see a lot of familiar faces. And I like the format of this race so far, and it's cool to be on the Husqvarna team and just get to represent.
Like I say, you spent quite a few years here riding for Steve Dixon, but is it good to be back after being away for so long?
Yeah, of course. I miss Europe a lot, and all the people I made relationships with. You know, so it's cool to be here and just to see everyone and get to enjoy it for a couple of days.
Well, you've been and got married and everything.
Yeah,
since you left, you've grown up. How is married life and all of that? You're a father now as well.
Yes, sir. I have a 2-year-old and a wife. Nearly 4 years now, so it's been a busy time at home, but we've had some success and it's been going good, so it's nice to just, you know, enjoy them when I can.
Cool.
And have you done anything else other than travel recently?
No, really no. I went on 2 sort of 1-week holidays, one to Mexico with my family and then one to Iceland with some friends, and just kind of toured around and got a camper and kind of hung out, so it was really cool.
And obviously being here, going back to the Iceland thing, I've seen some of your tweets and posts on social media. How was Iceland? That's one place I'd like to go visit.
It's really cool. It was just an idea that me and 2 friends sparked up off of Instagram, and one day I was just like, hey, I booked this camper and this ticket, and you guys need to be on the same one. So then we ended up there, and kind of blind, and it was super tourist friendly, and it's just so much to see. There's a picture around every corner if you want to stop and take it.
Yeah. Do you chill out in the hot springs?
Yeah. The last night we went to the Blue Lagoon for a couple of hours, and it was incredible.
Hot springs?
Yeah.
What's that?
They're everywhere.
Everywhere.
What are they, just like
warm pools,
Oh,
basically.
nice.
Yeah, geysers actually they're called, but not Tim.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Okay, have you managed to check out the track? What are your first impressions here at Veltin's?
Yeah, it's really fast. Obviously, it's definitely not an American Supercross track, but to me that that doesn't matter. It's not what we came here for. We knew that it wouldn't be, and it's good to just kind of have everyone in the same arena at the same time. I know that it's good for the manufacturers to be here and for us all to represent the way we are. So, yeah, for me the track is what it is. It's going to be, we're all riding the same thing, so it doesn't matter.
It's been a long season for everybody, both sides of the Atlantic, but how's your season been back home? I know there was a great day for you winning a national. Yeah,
I had some really good races in Supercross. I won 4 heat races, 5 times on the podium, and then a few podiums outdoors and 2 moto wins and an overall. So it was a great season for me, probably my best one to date. So I'm looking forward tonight with this SMX thing and just a new format.
Well, I've had a couple sessions out on track today, both free practice sessions. How are you finding it out there? I know there was one time you just slipped off, tipped over in one of the corners. Not the only one, though, to do that.
Yeah, the sand is deep, and I crashed there once and one other time in a turn. But I think it's going to deteriorate quick, and by the end of the night, there's not going to be a whole lot left, I think. So it's going to be a different deal from first main event to the last one, and you know, the Super Bowl is obviously going to be really, really good. But yeah, I think the format's cool. I always enjoy a Super Bowl type format. I think that's cool. We always used to do that at British Championship. So for me, it's pretty familiar. And yeah, just go into the night with an open attitude. It's going to be a lot about the start. There's not going to be a ton of passing because everyone's so close in times. So yeah, it's going to be fun no matter what.
Who are you going to put up for Super Bowl? Do you know yet?
I'm going, yeah.
Yeah?
So, got to go get dressed in a minute.
Are you riding 250 or 450?
450.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. I normally would ride the 350, but this year they decided to put me on the 450 for this and for the Monster Cup. So I've been riding it about 2 weeks now, and it's been good.
Cool. And how are you getting on with your teammates, Thomas Covington and Christophe Charlier?
Yeah, I never had so much contact with Christophe when I was racing GPs, but yeah, today we've been talking some, and it's cool. And obviously Thomas is, you know, an American that I can relate to because he's here doing the same thing that I did for quite a while. So it's good.
Okay, well, we've got a couple questions for you on social media. First one's from Bradshbart88, and he says, tell us how your opinion on how to be a great professional motocross racer has changed over the course of your career.
Well, I started...
That's a good question.
Yeah, it is. I started on a factory team as a young kid, and then I came here to deal with Steve Dixon for 4.5 years. So that changed my outlook on racing, on my life, on everything. So, but for the better, of course. I mean, I was talking to Steve yesterday and just you know, telling them that I used to think of it as such a pain to go the way he went, just like on a whim. And oftentimes I find myself bored now because everything's planned and I'm where I'm supposed to be. And it's just like, wow, you know, that was pretty fun when we did it.
You missed the spontaneity of it all.
Yeah, you have to a bit. So it's funny that just I've been in a lot of different situations in my career. So I think for me, it's been kind of taking it all in season. You know, it's all just a period, and it'll be different soon if you're not happy, or maybe if you are happy, it'll be different soon too. But you just never know, and you have to take it as it comes.
I had 7 years with him.
Yeah, you can relate to what Zach's saying.
I think you set a record.
Yeah, I think I did.
And finally, from Palftom V5, he says, well, considering what you just said, do you think you will ever race the MXGP circuit again?
Yeah, I would love to do a year or two more in the GPs. I enjoyed it. Obviously, with having a child now, I'd love for her to experience what I got to experience and see here in Europe. And I would never rule it out.
I was talking to Thomas Covington earlier this year. We did a feature on him in MXGP magazine, and it was quite interesting what he said, actually, because at the time he rode, I think, Qatar and Thailand a couple of years ago just as pre-season races to get ready for outdoors. He'd just signed a deal with Mitch at Pro Circuit, wasn't doing Supercross, and he did those 2 rounds, and then the offer was put on the table. Do you want to come and do the rest of the series? And he said he'd never even thought about it up until that moment. Yeah. And when he did think about it, he just thought it was a great opportunity to travel, to experience something new. And, you know, you've experienced that, and I guess it would be great for your family to do the same. Yeah,
I mean, it's an experience that I look back on often. It's tough in the struggles, you know, on the bad days when you're at Lommel and it's not going so well and it's raining and you miss home. But like I said, you just have to take it all as it comes to you. And now I see it all in a completely different light just because, you know, of where I am from where I've come from. So it's just for me, it's all about taking it as it comes and just perspective, you know.
What about I know we just had Ryan in here, Ryan Dungey, and he'd been to the new KTM factory, and obviously it's all part of the same family now, Husqvarna KTM. You were there as well.
Yeah, it was great to be there to see what they have going on. It's pretty incredible, the shop that they've built, and just to see the MotoGP bike that they've produced and just everything that they have going on is pretty incredible all together. I mean, it's kind of mind-boggling that we have in motocross a company that's willing to put so much forth for our sport.
Well, you set the fastest time for Team Husqvarna to get you guys qualified third in that respect, but obviously we've got the Super Bowl to look up forward to. How do you think the track will race tonight? Seems like there's a lot of riders out there.
Yeah, there's a lot of riders, and it's very close. So I think there's going to be a lot of banging, and yeah, it's just going to be limiting mistakes. Like I said, at the end of the night, already in practice, the track was breaking down quite a lot, and the corners were super rutted. So I think in the last main event, it's going to be just like a motocross race. You know, there's not going to be a lot of jumping going on. I mean, we'll probably be jumping the jumps, but maybe not so much scrubbing, and it's going to be a lot slower.
Sure. Okay, well, look, Zach, good to see you. Thanks for joining us here on the studio show tonight.
Thank you so much for having me.
And enjoy the rest of the evening.
Yes, sir.
Right, before we meet our final guest, Sami Hyypiä, let's take a look at our GoPro track preview here at the veltin-arena. Right. On board here with Romain Febvre. He was one of the first guys to ride the track yesterday, the Monster Energy Yamaha ride. Of course, he's riding for Team Yamaha. About 82 meters down to turn 1, and then they hit the single over the foxhole shot line through a series of waves, and then into turn 2. We exit there and hit the fullback jump. It's about 16 meters, and then this triple is about 25 meters. Everybody seemed to get over that. Inside, you have that mogul, the single. Again, about 17, 18 meters, this double into turn 4. And then the Ippon section here into waves. You can triple from the outside, or you can double your way through. And then when you get to the Alpine Stars turn here, just deep sand all over the place. Tripling into here. There's a couple more waves at the end of that straight as well. Into turn 7, the left-hander. Over a single, down the start straight in the opposite direction, about 90 meters or so, into this switchback turn. Little double about 10 meters on the exit, into the Monster Energy finish line jump, and then we go around the outside of turn 1, as you can see, into the bank, and then the riders head back down over a single and a triple, and back down into turn 2. And Sami Hyypiä is here now, and Sami Hyypiä, not only a UEFA Champions League winner for Liverpool, he's also an ambassador for the SMX Riders Manufacturers Cup here, heavily supported by Monster Energy, of course. And Sami, welcome to our studio show. We see you knocking around all the time in MXGP paddocks, but the veltin-arena, it's a place you know very well because you've played here and you've coached here, but on the opposing team.
Yeah, it's a great venue and great stadium, and I always the Schalke fans are great fans. There's a lot of them, and it's always good atmosphere here to play. And I played for my country as well in the stadium against Germany, and we drew 0-0, so good memories from that as well.
But obviously this weekend it's all about motocross. We know you're a massive motocross fan, but what is it about this sport that you like the most?
I don't know. I think it comes from my youth that I was always a motorsport fan, and my neighbor rode motocross that time, and we went to his training and his races, and unfortunately, my parents didn't buy me a bike, so I don't know if it was good or bad, but maybe I would be today a ex-motocross rider rather than ex-football player. But,
like me.
but yeah, that comes from there, and then later, my neighbor bought the bike again, and he started to ride a bit, and I tried this bike one summer on the summer holiday, and then I was gone. And of course now through my work before, I got to know people who has a lot of contacts, and I can see races and see the business quite close, and I'm happy for that. And every time I come here, I feel like home. That people are very nice here, and that's a credit to you all motocross people.
Thank you.
Oh, that's nice. Are you looking forward to watching the racing later on this evening here? It's something different, isn't it?
Yeah, it's different, and I think the track is that many guys can go fast, so I'm expecting good racing, and of course the start will be very, very important. That I don't think there's many places to go past, but I will see how it goes. I'm expecting good racing.
Yeah.
Well, never say never. We saw a quick look at our GoPro track preview earlier with Romain Febvre, but we have a time lapse of the circuit being built here, which is pretty interesting actually, because obviously what people don't know is that the pitch here gets dragged out. It takes 4 hours to leave the stadium. The whole pitch moves and then gets brought back in. But as you can see, then there are 12,000 tons of dirt used to build this track. And I've seen comments on social media as well saying this is what football stadiums should be used for anyway, and not football.
No, I think that's wrong. But I think it's a great idea that you can put the pitch out, because I've played sometimes on pitches that they do horse shows and dog shows on the pitch, and you know, you have to play on that pitch afterwards, and it's not in the good condition. So so that's a better one to build this track as well, that the pitch goes outside and have some sun and have some wind, and when the guys next time have to play on the pitch, it's perfect.
Yeah, and obviously, if you didn't know, it's about 710 meters long, that track, believe it or not.
Oh, okay. It's, I don't know how long it's gonna take for me to go around.
Yeah. We'll get to that in a
Half
moment.
an hour.
We'll get to that in a moment.
You said you've been interested in motocross since you were a child. How long have you actually been riding the bikes for? But I was thinking, surely there's got to be some sort of clause in your contract when you were playing football to stop you from racing bikes.
Or riding bikes.
Of course, you have. There's contract says that you can't do any other sport. So, but I think if you do your ankle playing tennis, I don't think the club have no issue on that. But if you say that if they know that you are riding motocross and you get injured, then maybe they do something else. But yeah, of course, I knew that it's a bit forbidden. But when nobody knows it, then it's okay. And,
what they don't know won't hurt them.
And I only could ride a little bit in the summer, and then 11 months nothing, and then it's back to zero because I've started to ride in my later age that I didn't have any experience when I was younger of riding motocross. So I have to learn everything, and I'm still learning. And now I've had a lot of time to ride, and when you do it regularly, then you learn how to ride as well a little bit.
Well, cool. Sami will be doing a lap of the track tonight. You'll be wired up for sound. Will you be attached to a GoPro as well, or is it just the sound element?
I guess GoPro is as well, but I think I haven't had the opportunity to practice at all, and that's my excuse now to go a bit slower.
But obviously, this is the bike you're going to be riding, and this is your own bike, isn't it?
Yeah, it's my own bike. The guys at Husqvarna put some new graphics, great graphics on it, and yeah, that's my bike. And
are you going to be showing us some of your skills?
I don't know. I think I just enjoy the moment, and then I leave all the skills to show to the riders. They make it look so easy, and when you haven't been on the bike, you don't know how difficult it is.
What would you say scares you or intimidates you most about riding? Would you say?
I don't know, the adrenaline and everything that comes and plays a big part. And now when I've turned into coaching and managing, that's a way for me to forget work for a few hours. That you really need to concentrate. That if you don't concentrate, you find yourself in the hospital. So that's for me was a good way of forgetting work. And when you have stress, then you take your bike and go out for a few hours to ride, and then you forget everything. And
what are your weak points when you go ride? Do you like to jump or not? Do you like sand or not? You know, what are the things that scare you the most?
I think jumping is still kind of thing that when you go in the air, that it's like you just wait how you come down. So that's why it's a bit scary, and I would like to learn how to ride properly first, and then the jumping is the last thing which comes, because that's very dangerous as well. But
not
now,
if you do it correctly.
Now I think my speed is that way that the bike really needs to work, and you know, if the suspension is not working, then I can really hurt myself. So I need to pay attention a little bit that the bike is right, and I don't fall or I don't crash because of the suspension is wrong.
Yeah. Well, final question, because we've got about a minute to go. You're obviously good friends with Antti Pyränen from the team of Rockstar Energy Husqvarna Factory Racing. I guess you'll be cheering for Husqvarna tonight. How do you think they'll do?
I hope they do well. Of course, unfortunately, the team had a little injury problems coming here, but that's an opportunity for the other guys to show what they can, and hopefully we have good racing and the best team wins.
All right. Well, look, Sami Hyypiä, always a pleasure to see you. Enjoy your evening.
Thank you.
Thanks, Sami.
And hopefully Team Husqvarna get it up on the box. Of course, he just did say there, no Max Nagel, no Jason Anderson. They were injured a couple of weeks ago. But that's it. Our final studio show of the season here on MXGP TV and also on Facebook. Thank you to Lisa for joining us here throughout the season. Highlights, real quick.
Just chatting with you, really.
Perfect.
Being part of it all, it's been great.
Oh, my God. She'll be buying me a drink later.
Pay me later.
Anyway, we are out of time here. Thanks to all our guests throughout the rest of the season, and hope you enjoy the racing here from the Monster Energy Riders and Manufacturers Super Motocross Cup here at the veltin-arena. We'll see you next year. Bye.